Sarah Polley is back on screen after a 15-year hiatus, but this time, she's doing something we never expected: comedy. Yes, you heard that right. Sarah Polley is acting again, and in Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg's sharp new satire, The Studio. In The Studio, Polley plays a version of herself in a hilarious satire about Hollywood's obsession with franchises and the battle to keep auteur-driven films alive. And honestly, it's a sight to behold. Let's take a moment to appreciate this. Sarah Polley, the brilliant filmmaker behind films like Take This Waltz and Women Talking, who's known for telling deep, personal stories, is back in front of the camera. For the first time in over a decade, Polley returns to acting, and it's all thanks to Seth Rogen, who convinced her to take the leap. And folks, the result is nothing short of amazing. Rogen has been trying to get her into comedy for years. After all, he starred in Take This Waltz, where Polley directed him. And last year, when Polley was busy with Women Talking and Oscar campaigning, Rogen finally pitched her a role in The Studio. He had faith in her, and that's exactly what she needed to take the risk. It was almost embarrassing how much fun I had. I didn't want to go back to sad movies. Seth kept telling me, "You don't have to make people upset all the time," and boy, did she have fun. In The Studio, Polley not only embraces slapstick comedy, but gets to explore a new, more spontaneous way of acting. It's a major departure from her usual meticulous, serious roles. In her episode, Polley plays a director who's trying to maintain control, only to snap when Rogen's character, Matt, starts pushing too far. It's a cathartic moment for Polley, who admits it was satisfying to let out all the frustrations she's internalized over the years. As you can imagine, this kind of release isn't typical for someone who's known for being kind and composed, but The Studio is all about poking fun at Hollywood, and Polley's character shows us that sometimes trying to please everyone can actually lead to disaster. Polley explains, "Niceness isn't always kindness." Her character starts off being overly nice to Rogen's character, Matt, but it ends up blowing up in her face, just like it does in the film industry, where being too nice can sometimes invite toxic behaviors that ruin everything. But The Studio isn't just a hilarious comedy. At its core, it's a sharp critique of the modern film industry, one that Polley knows all too well. The show is ultimately about how the business of films destroys the art of films. The constant issue with film is that it costs so much. Money has more say in film than art. Narrator: Polley has been fortunate to work outside the studio system, where she hasn't had to play the game of pitching movies based on algorithms. She's more focused on storytelling that resonates, and this show really highlights the frustrations that directors face when the industry prioritizes profit over creativity. The series shows Rogen's character trying to pitch Martin Scorsese, Ron Howard, and other filmmakers on ridiculous franchise ideas, all in the name of profit. It's a sobering and hilarious look at how the business is changing filmmaking. In the end, The Studio is both a satire and a love letter to filmmakers who fight for their craft in an increasingly commercialized world. And Sarah Polley? She's showing us just how versatile she really is. So, if you haven't already, make sure you check out The Studio on Apple TV+, because Sarah Polley in comedy is something you absolutely don't want to miss.